Good evening, here are tonight's top stories. A teenager has died in a tragic accident on the Essequibo coast. A 69-year-old construction worker was fatally shot at home, and a 49-year-old man was killed outside the Boathouse Sports Bar. 4 people face money laundering charges linked to a gold seizure, and a robbery suspect has escaped custody. An investigation is underway into the murder of a 75-year-old in Hope Estate, and a pork knocker has been arrested after months on the run. Meanwhile, Vice President Jagdeo says there's no rush on new oil spill legislation. Stay tuned for the details of these stories. Please remember to like, share and subscribe to our channel for more news.
Pork knocker arrested after eluding police for months. Kwesi Hall, a 36-year-old pork knocker from Alliance Road, Timeri, was arrested by police on Friday after evading capture for several months. An arrest warrant had been issued for Hall following his sentencing earlier this year. On March 7, 2024, Her Worship Magistrate Crystal Lambert issued the arrest warrant at the Bartica Magistrates Court after Hall was sentenced to 3 years in prison for possession of narcotics with the intent to traffic. Despite the warrant, Hall managed to avoid arrest until his capture yesterday. Hall's arrest concludes a period of evasion, and he will now serve his sentence as mandated by the court. Investigation launched into murder of 75-year-old in Hope Estate. The police have launched an investigation into the murder of 75-year-old Michael Sumer, whose body was discovered on Friday morning in his home. According to investigators, Sumer was likely killed between 10:45 p.m. on Thursday and 7:45 a.m. on Friday. His body was found in the lower flat of his 2-story house, with a sheet tied around his neck and his hands bound behind his back with rope. A chair was also found resting on his back. The elderly man had visible injuries to his forehead, right ankle, and left elbow. The police reported that the house had been ransacked. So far, only one 32-inch television set, which was not operational, has been reported missing. The emergency medical team, EMT, led by Dr. Uthman from Clonbrook Health Center, pronounced Sumer dead at the scene. A post-mortem examination is scheduled to be conducted on Sumer's body. No suspects have been identified at this time as the investigation continues. Teenager dies in tragic accident on Essequibo coast. A devastating accident early Sunday morning has claimed the life of 16-year-old Julio Joseph, a student at Aurora Secondary School. Joseph, who resided in the Pomona housing scheme, tragically succumbed to his injuries shortly after the incident. The accident occurred during the early hours of Sunday, with reports indicating that the driver, Gavin Ash Nareen, had been drinking with Joseph and another friend prior to the crash. Witnesses and initial investigations suggest that Nareen was intoxicated beyond the legal limit when he lost control of the vehicle. The car subsequently crashed into a house in Fairfield, Region 2. Despite the company he was in, it has been confirmed that Joseph did not consume any alcohol. The teenagers were on their way home at the time of the accident. Emergency services quickly transported all the occupants to the hospital. Unfortunately, Julio Joseph succumbed to his injuries while receiving treatment. The condition of the third passenger, whose identity has not been disclosed, remains unknown at this time. Authorities continue to investigate the circumstances surrounding the tragic accident. 49-year-old man fatally shot outside Boathouse Sports Bar. In the early hours of Saturday, Sherwin Hamilton, a 49-year-old self-employed resident of Sarah Johanna, EBD, was murdered outside the Boathouse Sports Bar. The incident occurred following a heated argument inside the bar. Police headquarters reported that the security guard on duty at the Boathouse Bar stated Hamilton had a verbal altercation with another man at around 2:30 a.m. The guard intervened and escorted the aggressor out of the bar. Around 3 a.m., the DJ announced the bar's closing time, and patrons began to leave through the western door facing the public road. As Hamilton exited, he was confronted by the same man and another male accomplice. The suspect shot Hamilton in the left upper thigh before fleeing the scene on an XR motorcycle. A 25-year-old nurse who was present at the bar rendered first aid by tying a vest around Hamilton's injured leg. Despite these efforts, Hamilton's condition remained critical. Hamilton's wife, Amanda Persad, arrived and transported him to the Diamond Diagnostic Center. Unfortunately, Hamilton was pronounced dead on arrival by the doctor on duty. Investigators processed the crime scene, finding a 9mm spent shell about 20 feet from the bar's western entrance. Police are actively searching for the suspect as investigations continue. This tragic incident has heightened concerns about safety in the area and underscores the need for increased security measures at local establishments. For charged with money laundering in connection with gold seizure. 4 individuals appeared at the Diamond Magistrates Court on Friday, facing separate charges of money laundering in violation of Section 3(1)(b) of the Anti-Money Laundering and Countering the Financing of Terrorism Act. Police headquarters reported that Safi Ahmad, also known as Chilo, 58, Shamina Ahmed, 52, Ashiana Salamale, 33, all residents of 38 Roraima Scheme, Versailles, West Bank Demerara, and Ian Jacobys, 44, of 749 Plantation Best, West Coast Demerara, were brought before Magistrate Sunil Scarce. The defendants were not required to enter pleas. Bail was set at $500,000 each, with the stipulation that Safi Ahmad must report to the Special Organized Crime Unit, SOCU, on the last Friday of every month. The case has been adjourned to July 30, 2024. The charges stem from an incident on June 3, when customs officers from the Guyana Revenue Authority, GRA, seized several pieces of gold jewelry at the Chetty Jugan International Airport, Timeri. The gold, totaling approximately 240 ounces and valued at over $560,000 $117,001,604 Guyanese dollars, was disguised as silver-plated jewelry. The individuals were attempting to board an outbound American Airlines flight to New York without the necessary permits and declarations. Shamina Ahmed, Ashiana Salamale, both U.S. citizens, and Ian Jacobys were detained following the seizure. A subsequent investigation by SOCU into potential money laundering activities led to the charges against the 4 accused. The case highlights the ongoing efforts by authorities to combat money laundering and the illicit movement of assets across borders. 69-year-old construction worker fatally shot by intruders at home. Westminster Housing Scheme, West Bank Demerara, Jairam Ramkishan, a 69-year-old construction worker, was tragically shot and killed by intruders in his yard early Sunday morning. The incident occurred at his residence, a one-flat concrete structure where he lived with his wife, Tajwanti Hari Persad, 50, and their 2 sons, aged 24 and 25. According to a statement from the police headquarters, the investigation revealed that Ramkishan and his wife were asleep in their bedroom when they were awakened by 3 hooded males, one of whom was armed with a firearm. The intruders demanded cash and jewelry, and during the altercation, one of the men struck Tajwanti Hari Persad several times on the head with the gun. Ramkishan attempted to fend off the intruders and engaged in a scuffle, during which one of his sons emerged from his bedroom to assist. Together, they managed to force the suspects out of the house, who had gained entry through a window. During the altercation, Jonathan, one of Ramkishan's sons, sustained a stab wound to the left side of his rib area. The intruders exited through the western side door, prompting Ramkishan to arm himself with a cutlass and pursue them into the yard. Shortly after, Tajwanti heard a loud gunshot and discovered her husband lying motionless in a pool of blood at the front of the yard. She immediately contacted a family friend who reported the incident to the police. Upon inspection of the home, it was discovered that 2 phones were stolen. The police processed the crime scene, recovering 2 9mm live rounds and 1 9mm spent shell from the front of the yard, along with a black haversack and 2 flap hats. Several individuals have been questioned, and additional information has been gathered. The body of the deceased is currently at the Ezekiel Funeral Home, awaiting a post-mortem examination. This tragic incident has sent shockwaves through the Westminster Housing Scheme community, highlighting the urgent need for enhanced security measures. Civil society activist Ramon Gaskin passes away at 82. Civil society activist Ramon Gaskin passed away on Saturday at the age of 82, following a period of illness. Gaskin, known for his fervent activism and outspoken nature, was a prominent figure in Guyanese civil society. His death has elicited a wave of condolences from various sectors of society, including politicians, businessmen, lawyers, and other prominent individuals. Attorney-at-law SASE Gunraj described Gaskin as feisty until the end. Vice President Barrett Jagdeo also extended his condolences via his official Facebook page to Gaskin's friends and family, noting Gaskin's service as a former presidential advisor. The Alliance for Change (AFC) reflected on Gaskin's legacy, emphasizing the impact of his activism. The party remarked on Gaskin's ability to hold leaders accountable, stating, "Gaskin, or Rambo as he was affectionately called, was known for his outspokenness and strong opinions. He was an activist and protagonist unlike any other." The AFC praised Gaskin for fearlessly challenging both the government and the opposition to improve the lives of Guyanese citizens. In recent years, Gaskin played a significant role in advocating for transparency in the management of the oil and gas sector. He campaigned for better oil deals and held companies like ExxonMobil Guyana accountable for environmental protection and fair resource allocation. In a 2023 report by Kaider News, Gaskin warned that the secrecy of oil and mining contracts could jeopardize Guyana's financial interests. He also called for thorough audits of ExxonMobil's expenses and filed an appeal with the Caribbean Court of Justice, CCJ, regarding the absence of environmental permits for Exxon's partners, although the case was later dismissed. Gaskin's dedication to advocacy made him a household name and a champion for ordinary working-class Guyanese. His loss will be felt deeply by many. Kaider News extends its condolences to Ramon Gaskin's family and friends during this difficult time. Robbery suspect escapes police custody before court appearance. A robbery suspect escaped from police custody on Friday, just before his scheduled court appearance at the Georgetown Magistrates Court. The escapee, identified as Simon Eiffel of Lot 198, Mandela Avenue, Georgetown, was expected to appear virtually from the Timehri police station before Principal Magistrate Faith McGusty to face a charge of robbery under arms, RUA. Eiffel, along with 2 accomplices, allegedly robbed a taxi driver on July 10, 2024. However, when the case was called, Eiffel was not present. The court was soon notified of Eiffel's escape and informed that he was being investigated for a series of robberies on the east bank of Demerara, EBD. Eiffel also has pending cases at the Diamond Magistrates Court. According to reports, police from the Timehri police station were transporting Eiffel to the Diamond Magistrates Court when he managed to escape along the east bank. In response to the escape, Magistrate McGusty issued an arrest warrant for Eiffel and adjourned the matter to August 19, 2024. Meanwhile, Sean Harry of James Street, Albert Town, the second suspect in the robbery, appeared in court, pleaded guilty, and was sentenced to 3 years and 6 months in jail. The third suspect remains unknown to the police. The robbery in question occurred on July 12 on Plum Street, South Sophia, Georgetown. Eiffel, Harry, and an unidentified male, armed with a firearm, allegedly robbed Joshua Babb of a gold chain valued at $120,000 and $50,000 in cash. Babb was on his way to pick up customers on Durban Street when he picked up Harry, Eiffel, a female, and another male. After dropping off the female in Plaisance, the unknown male requested to be dropped off at Mercy Wing Road, Plum Park, South Sophia. Upon arrival, the unknown male attacked Babb, inflicting serious injuries to his right eye with a firearm. Harry and Eiffel then took the victim's valuables and fled. Babb reported the incident to the police. On July 16, while dropping off a customer at Sussex and Lang Street, Charlestown, Babb saw Harry, Eiffel, and the unknown male in a superbet shop. He informed the Brickdam police station, and officers went to the location but only apprehended Harry and Eiffel. Harry was taken to the Ruimveldt police station, while Eiffel was transported to the Timehri police station due to his pending matters at the Diamond Magistrates Court. During interrogation, Harry admitted to being present during the attack. Police are actively searching for Simon Eiffel as investigations continue.
Government not rushing passage of oil spill legislation. Asserting that the government has enough time to table its draft oil spill legislation in the National Assembly, General Secretary of the People's Progressive Party, Dr. Barrett Jagdeo has made it clear that there is no rush to present the legislation, but rather focus will be on ensuring that it is robust and comprehensive. Earlier this year, the government announced its plan to table this year the landmark oil spill legislation, which is expected to strengthen the government's capacity to ensure full liability coverage and for oil spill preparation, planning, and response. General Secretary of the People's Progressive Party, Dr. Bharat Jagdeo commenting on whether the bill will be presented before the parliamentary recess in August. Dr. Jagdeo said, "It may be tough to pass it because we may not have the requisite period for notice, but I think we have enough time to table it. We don't want to also rush it through the parliament." He was at the time updating reporters at a press conference at Freedom House on Thursday. He added that the government is considering restricting comments on the draft legislation to include only locals. We may solicit. I'm not sure that we will open this one up for comments, especially from the oil and gas companies, because they don't want legislation of this nature. Maybe open it only for comments from the locals, he explained. The legislation will detail the state's responsibilities and those accountable in the event of an oil spill, whether it be companies operating in the sector or a shipping company. The government has been adamant that while there are already several measures in place to address any potential oil spill, it is necessary to implement more comprehensive legislation that provides greater scope in liability. Currently, ExxonMobil and its coventurers operating in the Stabroek block have agreed to a $2 billion parent company guarantee for oil spills. They have also agreed to a $600 million insurance package. Added to this, the tenets of the Environmental Protection Act emphasize strict liability, which means that the permit holder is fully responsible and fully liable for any pollution that their activities and this does not have to be proven.